Welcome, welcome. I am having a few technical difficulties. My apologies for getting started a little bit late. I am having some issues with my camera, so I'm going to hopefully fix that. Okay, there we go. Okay, welcome, welcome. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. My apologies. I'm having a couple of technical issues, but we're here. And if you're watching live, give me in the chat, tell me where you're watching from. And if you're watching the replay, welcome. Go and get a couple of tools we're going to need for tonight's activity. I will put what we need up on the screen here. All right, so tools for today. We're going to be doing some nervous system regulation work. So we're going to need to grab, if you have it, a vibrating toothbrush or like a vibrating massager if you have it. If you don't, that's okay. We'll just use our fingers to tap. And an essential oil, a high quality essential oil if you have it, or something you like the smell of, coffee beans, piece of fruit, a flower, anything you like the smell of. If you don't have any of that, that's okay too. You can still do the drills, the techniques. All right. So before we get started, just a little bit about what we're, who we are, and what we do, and why we're doing this. So this is the online gathering place. We are an online platform. Typically, we use YouTube, and we're a group of a few of us are volunteers who come online at certain times of the week, and we provide activities for people who are in need of stress reduction, a boost in your mood, or reducing anxiety and maybe a little bit of fun. And our goal is to eventually be able to provide a 24/7 access to these activities. But right now, we only have a couple of volunteers, and we're always looking for more volunteers. And I'll have some information about that at the end of the session. We're going to go about 45 minutes. These sessions are about 45 minutes. And at the end, stick around at the end, and I'll share some more resources and some more information. But for now, let's go ahead and get into tonight's activity. So we're going to be doing some what are called neurosomatic drills. Neuro is brain, somatic is body. So we're going to be calming down the nervous system, doing some really easy and time efficient techniques. I'm going to teach you a couple of those. And then we're going to be doing some tapping. Hi, Robert. Thanks for joining from Bradenton. And so, yes, we're going to be doing some tapping after that, which I'll explain when we get to that point what that is. And but all of these things are designed to help calm down your nervous system and reduce anxiety. Lots of benefits, help you sleep better, help your health issues, any pain you might be having, any racing thoughts. Could also be used for limiting beliefs, bad habits, all kinds of good things that these techniques can help with. So let's jump right into it. So if you have your stuff, let's start. Let's start with the essential oil. I always like that one. So I'm gonna grab mine, or start with your smelly thing, with your smelly object. And I'm going to get rid of this so it's not continuing to go. So I know too much words on the screen can be distracting. So grab your smelly object, whatever that is. And if you don't have a smelly object, you can still do this. Just visualize or kind of imagine what that might smell like. If you remember, like maybe you really love the smell of freshly baked cookies, or a certain scent, a certain essential oil. I like peppermint. That's one of my favorites. So you're going to take your item. Let's start with the right hand. You're going to take your right pointer finger and close up the right nostril. Hold the smelly object underneath the open nostril, which is the left. And we're just going to inhale and exhale at your pace. And while you're doing that, take the other finger and just tap up and down. So we're going to take an inhale. Just tap, tap, tap along the bridge of the nose. And then exhale. Just do it at your pace. It doesn't have to be in sync. Just whatever way feels good to you. Just inhaling and exhaling and tapping up and down, whichever way feels good for you. You don't have to be exactly in sync with me. You just want to inhale that nice smell. Okay, and go ahead and relax. Take an inhale and a long, slow exhale, and let your nervous system just take that in for a moment. And the reason that we're doing this is because we're resetting cranial nerve number 1. There are 12 cranial nerves, which cranial nerve is in the brain. And cranial nerve number 1 is the olfactory nerve, which is our sense of smell. It also is directly to our limbic system. And our limbic system is our emotions, our memories are stored there. So it will explain that when you smell certain things, you might have certain emotions or feelings attached to it, and you might even have certain memories. This also can come into play with trauma if it's a bad smell, and it might lead to a bad memory. But if it is a good smell, and that's why we're doing good smells, things we like the smell of, because we want it to be a positive experience. So there are certain emotions that can be attached with certain smells. With peppermint, for me, the emotion is just relaxed. Very pleasant, almost a little bit of alertness, maybe a little bit of energy or pep. Peppermint gives me a little bit of pep, but it also kind of does it in a relaxing way. So it has kind of a twofold benefit there. And other smells like, flowers, the smell of roses. For most people, there are some people who just don't like flowers, but for most people, roses are a pleasant smell. And you might equate that with a feeling of calm, a feeling of peace, a feeling of happiness, joy. So that's also what this is doing. So we're going to do that same thing again. We're going to do it on the left side this time. But what we're going to do, what I forgot to do, was our assessment. We want to assess our nervous system, see where it's at, and see if these drills or these techniques, call them drills, see if they are positive for your nervous system. There's a way to tell. So an easy way to tell is by our range of motion or our muscle tension, is to evaluate how much tension we have in our muscles. Our neck is a great way to assess that by doing a quick cervical rotation. And you can just do that by turning your neck to the right as far as you can without going into pain, and just kind of notate how far you can go, and then repeat to your left side and just kind of get a feel for your range of motion at this moment. And we're going to repeat that, and then we're going to reassess and see if that has changed at all. And it's a great way to assess our nervous system in the moment, in real time, to see, are we going into fight or flight? Are we activated? When we go into fight or flight, that feeling that we, are threatened, we are facing a threat. We either want to fight the threat, like if we were being faced by, a wild animal. And typically that doesn't happen in our day and age. So let's equate it to something we do deal with on a daily basis. Work deadlines, family issues, being able to pay our rent, being able to survive, those kinds of things are worrying about if we're going to lose our job. Those kinds of things are daily threats that we might face, or just smaller things, even like worrying about if we're going to be late to an appointment or late to work, or, oh gosh, did I say the wrong thing? That we go into that fight or flight. Our heart starts to beat faster. Our mouth may dry up. Our stomach may get in knots, our muscles may tighten up, our eyes may get real big and dilate. And that's preparing us to either fight the threat or to flee or flight or run away from the threat. There's also something called freeze, and that's when you just kind of freeze up. You go numb, you can't move, you can't make a decision. Those are all different nervous system responses. So the things that I'm teaching are good. Some drills are good for fight or flight, and some are better for freeze. And we'll kind of go over some of that too as we go along. But this particular one is good for if you're going into fight or flight. So if you're starting to get elevated and you want to bring the nervous system back down to a rest and digest state, so a parasympathetic state. That's the scientific term is parasympathetic. I think of it as sympathetic is stress, parasympathetic is peace, or you're deploying your parachute to try to get to a place of safety. So we can use these essential oils or things we like the smell of to find that place of peace. And let's see if your nervous system finds it peaceful like mine does. And if it doesn't, we'll talk about what to do. So let's go ahead and take our smelly object in our left hand, plug up the left nostril, hold your smelly object underneath the right nostril, and inhale and exhale at your pace while tapping up and down with the other hand. Go ahead and start doing that when you're ready. So inhale and exhale at your pace. You don't have to go in sync with me. I needed that. Okay, and relax. Take an inhale and a long, slow exhale. Just kind of let your nervous system take a beat to adjust. And let's reassess that. So let's repeat that cervical rotation. So turn your neck to the right as far as you can without going into pain. You don't want to push it. You're not trying to see how far you can go. You're trying to see where your nervous system is at and how it responded to that. And go ahead and go to the left. Now, I noticed that I had more range of motion, just a little bit, but more range of motion. So that means that my muscles are relaxing. And of course, doing these live streams can come with some anxiety. So I definitely could tell that that drill right there brought my nervous system down probably a point or two. Now, if you did that assessment and it was no different, it was neutral, then that just simply means that it wasn't enough stimulation to make positive change. So there's a couple things you can do. You can repeat it. You can do it again. You could do it for maybe longer, or you could make it more difficult. So you could add a little bit more stimuli to it. You could try doing the same thing with your eyes closed. You could try doing it standing up, making it a little bit more challenging. You could try doing it standing on one foot. You could try walking around, making it a little bit more difficult. But you always want to reassess to make sure that that's okay for your nervous system. You don't want to add too much. You want to, make it a little bit more, give it a little bit more stimuli, and then reassess that. See how that worked and see where you're at. If you still need more, then you can always add. Subtracting is a little bit harder to do. So, and if you assessed negatively, let's say you went and did your cervical rotation and it was worse, like it was, ooh, I can't even really move my neck. Or if you had any negative outputs. So those look like, or feel like anxiety, nausea, dry mouth, dry throat, um, and just any kind of icky feeling in your stomach, any kind of pain, tighter muscles. If you have any of those negative outputs, then that means that your nervous system said that that was too much. Or maybe it didn't really like the smell. Maybe it didn't like that smelly object. Maybe it just doesn't jive with whatever essential oil you picked at that moment. Now, it might be different later on. Maybe it responds better to it at a different time. Sometimes timing matters as well. But I've also experienced when my nervous system really did not like this specific scent, which was a bummer because I really loved this specific scent from Young Living, Stress Away, which is a popular one. And my nervous system, just every time that I assessed, was like, nope, we don't like it. And that's just it. That's, we're getting in touch with our nervous system to see, um, uh, if we can assess whether something is helpful for us or harmful. And again, sometimes it depends on the timing. But if you're constantly getting negative outputs, then your nervous system just doesn't like that thing. And it's just not your drill. And that's just okay. There's plenty more to do. So we're going to move on to the next one and see, hopefully, if that one was a positive one for you. Maybe jot that down or just make a mental note that the essential oil or the smelly object drill was positive or negative for you. All right. So the next one we're going to do, we're going to actually use a tool if you have it. If you have a electronic toothbrush, grab that, or like a personal massager, something that vibrates. If you don't, that's okay. Well, we can just use fingers and tap, tap, tap. So this one we're going to locate on the neck. You're going to just turn your head to the right. We did this last week for those of you who are with us last week. Sometimes it's good to repeat. And so then you can really learn it. But we are going to learn some new ones today too. So this big muscle that starts behind your ear and wraps around your neck to the collarbone, that is your SCM muscle, or your sternocleidomastoid muscle. It can, get big and bulgy when we're angry. So go ahead and locate that. And you're going to turn on, actually, let's just assess real quick before we get into that. Just do a cervical rotation again and just assess where you're at. And now my camera is doing some funky things tonight. So if those of you who are joining live, will you let me know in the comments if the camera does anything wonky or if you can't see me anymore, and I'll fix it. But yes, let's turn your head to, to the left, and we're going to identify the right side. Turn on your object if you have it, and just slowly use the back. If you're using the toothbrush, don't use the bristles, use the back. And just slowly allow your object to just go up and down that SCM muscle there. If you don't have a vibrating object, then you can just tap. Just use your fingers and just gently tap up and down. So pick your tool and just breathe naturally. Now, I just swallowed, and that is a sign that my parasympathetic nervous system is kicking in. That's a good sign. Yawning is also a good sign. Yes, you might be tired, but yawning is also a sign that your parasympathetic nervous system is kicking in and doing its job to relax you. So your parachute is deploying to safety. Okay, let's take a breath in and a long, slow exhale. And okay, camera, hang on one second. Go ahead and, while I'm messing with my camera, go ahead and do an assessment. So turn your head to the right and to the left. It's definitely time to buy a new camera. I've been messing with it for a while. Okay, and see if you got any more range of motion. For those of you watching live, am I back now? Can you tell me in the chat? Is my camera working okay? I think I had just lost it again. My apologies, guys. I'll try fixing it one more time, and if not, I'll just switch to the other one. All right. So, okay, how was that assessment? And we're going to take your object, or choose to use your fingers. Turn your head to the right this time. and go ahead and run your object, whatever you choose to use, up and down that SCM muscle sporadically. Okay, thank you, Robert. Let me know if it's just not working at all. I can switch to the camera, the other camera that the laptop has. It's kind of crappy, but if it's what we got, it's what we got. This is live stream, y'all. This is stuff that happens, and I'm glad we're doing nervous system regulation drills. We're doing this because tech issues can definitely. That's another thing that can kind of make me go into fight or flight is tech issues, especially while I'm trying to do a live presentation. So glad that this is what we're doing. This is perfect timing and a perfect ending to a stressful day. I had some things happen today, so glad that I'm able to just kind of end the day with this. All right, inhale, take a long, slow exhale, and let's reassess that. Okay, my nervous system really liked that. Hopefully yours did too. If it did not, then that's okay. That just wasn't your drill for now. We're trying to find drills that your nervous system responds well to, so you can use them when you need them. I also would say to practice them even when you don't, like when you get up in the morning, do a couple of drills and start your morning off right. And then sprinkle them throughout the day as you need them, maybe in between meetings at work or when you have things happen, like, you're running late or whatever it is, whatever happens throughout our day, it. You know when your nervous system starts spazzing out, or at least you may now know that we're talking about it and what to look for. It's really useful to be able to detect when your nervous system is starting to go into fight or flight, because then you can intervene and you can interrupt those thought loops and interrupt the process by doing these drills. So all right, let's move on to the next one. So let's do a vision drill. This is a new one. We didn't do this last week, so this is a good one to use. Really, anytime your nervous system goes into fight or flight, but it also is useful for when you've been on the computer all day, or you've been maybe reading a lot, or you've been looking at screens or watching a movie. Anytime vision is involved, this is a really good drill to do as a visual reset. So you're going to take your thumb. You could take any object. You could take a pen, but you always have your thumb. So most people have thumbs. So take your thumb and maybe find the crease and have that be a focal point. Pick a focal point on your thumb. It doesn't have to be the crease. It could be the thumbnail, it could be the cuticle, whatever. Pick a focal point on your thumb. Hold it out to where you can have it in focus, maybe just a couple inches out directly. And what we're going to do is we're just going to turn our head. We're going to keep looking at that focal point. We're going to maintain focus on that focal point, but we're going to turn our head to the right as far as we can go comfortably. And actually, no, we're not going to go very far, actually, just a little bit to the right and the left. And we're just going to slowly look to the right and the left, or excuse me, turn our head to the right and to the left, but we're not going to take our eyes off of that focal point. Okay, let's stop. Close your eyes and let's just let things go dark for a moment. Okay, and then let's slowly let the eyes flutter back open. That's something that can just kind of give it a beat. And then let's reassess that. See if your nervous system liked that or not. So do your cervical rotation to the right and to the left. Mine seemed to be okay with that one. Sometimes if we really need this one, it's good, or sometimes it might be too much. So if it was too much, here's a way you can work with that. You can either choose, like, hey, that's not my drill, I'm not going to do that. Or what you can do is you can do a safe drill, do one that you know is positive, like maybe, redo the tap, tap, tap up and down on your SCM muscle just to kind of get your nervous system back to a positive place. And then you could try the drill again. We'll try it again in just a moment, but do it for less. Do it slower, slow down, or do it for just one rep. Try that, because that's also a way you can, maybe try it. But you can also, you don't want to force it. You never want to force anything. You don't want to force any kind of rehab. That's not what I'm teaching, and that's not what I want you to do. I want you to find the drills that are going to be positive for you. There is rehab work, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. And that's more of an advanced skill that we're not going to do tonight. And that really is something that you need to work with a specialist on. And I do have some information about how you can do that. If you would like to hear more about that at the end, I'll give you a resource where you can work with a neurosomatic intelligence coach. This is where I learned all of these things because I work with a neurosomatic intelligence coach. But I'll go into more detail at the end. So let's do that drill again. Take your thumb, it doesn't really matter, left or right, and we're going to try that again. So we're going to go a little bit to the right. Keep your focal point on that focal point of your thumb, whatever you've chosen, the nail or maybe that crease. And then turn your head to the left. I keep saying look, but you don't want to move your eyes from your focal point. You just want to move your head gently to the right and left. So let's stop there. Let's just do that much. Inhale and long, slow exhale. And let's reassess that with our cervical rotation. Okay, that was good for me. Those of you who are watching live, would you like to give us an update on how that one worked for you? Did you get positive, negative? So, as I was saying, if you get a negative response, you can choose to just not do that one. Or I would suggest to right away get positive again by doing one of the drills that was positive, whether it was the essential oil drill or whether it was the SCM using the tapping up and down that muscle of the neck. Okay, positive. Great. Thank you. Awesome. Glad these are positive. So there's 3 drills that we've learned so far. So the essential oil or the cranial nerve number 1, the SCM, which is the name of that muscle, sternocleidomastoid. That's a long one. So just that big ropey muscle in your neck. And then the visual drill of holding, your gaze on a focal point and just slowly looking to the right or the left. So we're going to try one more, and then we're going to go into a little bit of tapping to close out the session tonight. All right, so this one is a really good vagus nerve reset drill. The vagus nerve is the largest cranial nerve. So I said earlier, we have 12 cranial nerves. Vagus nerve is vagus nerve number 10, and it is the largest cranial nerve. And it's really important because it attaches the brain to the body. Starts at the base of the brain, goes all throughout our organs, goes in through our gut, through our heart. So it's very important. It is our parasympathetic nervous system. So it is our calming system. So as you can imagine, if our vagus nerve isn't working right, if we are hypervigilant, if we've been through a lot of trauma, if we're having health issues and we're not healing, that could point to a root cause of our vagus nerve needs some work. We need some nervous system rehabilitation. And these drills are great for that. One thing among many that are great tools to have nervous system health or vagus nerve health. It's also called polyvagal theory in the mental health community. And or our vagal tone If our vagal tone isn't at a healthy place, then we're not going to feel good. We're not going to perform at our best. We're going to have all kinds of mental health issues, all kinds of health issues, and we're not going to heal. That vagus nerve has to be cleared. It's our superhighway connecting our brain and our body. It's how our brain talks to our body. So if it's not working at an optimal level, then we're going to really struggle. We're going to have all kinds of symptoms physically, emotionally. So we're going to give that vagus nerve a little bit of a reset. So there's two ways we can do that. One way is to put your elbows behind, put your hands behind your head where your elbows are out at, is it what angle is that? 90? Where your elbows are out to the side. We're not doing geometry tonight. Where your elbows are out to the side. If that is uncomfortable, kind of like you're doing a sit up, like your crunch, if that's uncomfortable to hold those there, then you can choose to make an L with either hand and hold it underneath your chin and your chest. The reason for this is you're just trying to make sure that you're not turning your head. That's the point of doing either this or this, is to keep your head, and you'll see in a moment how easy it is to turn your head. And that's what we don't want. We want you to keep your head straight, looking forward. So choose which you want to do. I'll do both just to show you how they look. So we'll try this way first. And keeping your head forward, you're going to look to the right and hold that gaze as long as you can. Let's try for 30 seconds. Look as far as you can to the right. Don't push it. Don't hurt yourself. And let's just hold it for 30 seconds. Breathe in and out gently. Now, if it starts to hurt, or your eyes start squinting, that means stop. That means you really need this, but it also means stop. All right. I had a spontaneous breath there, kind of a sigh. And that's also another sign that the parasympathetic nervous system is kicking in and it's doing its job to relax. So let's take an inhale and a long, slow exhale. Just let that settle. And let's see how that worked. Okay. My nervous system always likes this one. So I always see I'm almost turned around. So I definitely noticed a difference there. So vagus nerve loved that one. So we're going to try it again, but this time I'm going to show you this way of just doing the L shape underneath your chin and your chest there. Now we're going to look to the left. So as far as you can look left, don't push it, don't go into pain, maybe even back off a little bit. And hold and breathe in and out naturally. Hold your gaze to the left, remembering to keep your head forward. Now, you may notice you're starting to blink more often. That's normal. It may even if it starts to be uncomfortable, then go ahead and stop. Most of us really need this. Okay, there was my spontaneous breath. So that means that nervous system was kicking in. Inhale and slow exhale. All right. Next is your cervical rotation to the right and to the left. My nervous system almost always loves that one. But if yours didn't, that's okay. It just probably needs it was a little much this time. So there is a way that you can practice that one. You know, you always want to sandwich. If you ever get a negative response, you want to follow it up right away with a positive drill. So do something you know your nervous system is going to like, and then maybe try it again, but try it for less time. And maybe don't look as far to the right this time, maybe just a little bit. Maybe don't go as far as you can, maybe, just a little bit to the right, And don't hold it for 30 seconds. Maybe just try a few seconds. Maybe try 5 seconds, a little bit. And then reassess and work your way back up. That's, typically how, we work with when you get a negative response. All right. So I want you to be in a positive nervous system state. So repeat one of those drills that was positive for you. I'm going to repeat the SCM with my electronic toothbrush. So pick one that was positive for you and go ahead and do that drill, because I want to go into this next segment with a calm nervous system. All right. And let's reassess and make sure that nervous system is nice and relaxed. And if it's not, do whatever you need to do to get it there. If there's something that your nervous system likes and it wasn't any of these drills, that's okay. Go ahead and do that. So I'm going to get our tapping meditation ready. So go ahead and continue to do whatever you need to do to get your nervous system nice and relaxed. Okay. So tonight we're going to end the session with a little tapping meditation, which is called Melt Away Stress for Full Body Relaxation. It's a pretty good one. I went through it earlier today and really liked it. So hope you guys do too. So tapping, I'm not going to go into a lot of explanation before I go into tapping. If you would like more explanation, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is Holistic Healing Network. And there is a video called Setting Boundaries Using Tapping. I go into a lot more detail in that video about tapping, but since we're limited on time, we're just going to kind of go right into the tapping. What I will do before we go into the script is we're going to go over the 9 different acupressure points rather, and what those are. But I'm going to walk you through everything as we go along. But before we start, we're going to do some gentle tapping on the side of the hand. We're going to start there. That's point number 1, is called the karate chop point. We call it karate chop point. It's actually your small intestine in Chinese medicine. This is small intestine meridian, and this is one of the points that falls along that meridian line, which are lines of energy that are all throughout the body. Energy meaning blood flow, lymph fluid, cells, energy, organs. Their meridians are pathways that lead a point on the outside of the body to one of our internal organs. Pretty fascinating stuff, Chinese medicine. So that's point number 1. Point number 2 is on the side crease of the eyebrow, where the eyebrow meets the bridge of the nose. And you can choose to do gentle tapping. You can do one hand, you can do the other hand, or you can do both. Whatever feels good to you, it all works. You can also choose to just rub the point if you don't feel like tapping. If tapping is too stimulating for you, you can just gently rub, or you can just touch and hold the point. And breathe, of course, while you do it. The next point, that was the bladder point, by the way. The next one is the side of the eye, kind of in that temple area. And this is triple warmer, which is an acupuncture point that is a fight or flight. So this is another way to calm fight or flight, is just to tap, tap, tap this point right here on the side, on the temple area. Okay. Next point is the stomach point, or the top of the cheek. I know I say stomach and you're like, what? How could that be stomach? This is how Chinese medicine works. There's points on the outside of our bodies, but internally they've done studies where they've injected blue dye, and you can follow the pathway and see that it would go to the stomach. And quite literally, I tap on this stomach point when I have indigestion or any anxiety or stomach issues, and I can, after maybe 10, 20 seconds of tapping, I start to hear gurgling in my stomach. So that's one way I know how it works. Plus, I usually, feel better by doing this. Okay, next point is underneath the nose or like the mustache area. Okay, and then the chin where that crease is, not the bottom of the chin, but the crease right here. And the next point is our collarbone. So kind of where the collarbones meet, go down an inch and out an inch. Doesn't have to be exact. We're not doing acupuncture here. Acupuncture is very precise with those little needles. This is acupressure. So we're getting the general area, and that's good enough. It's having a rippling effect. It's getting the blood flowing. The blood is flowing and pumping oxygen to the brain and giving us a signal to calm down that fight or flight response. It's sending a calming signal to our amygdala, which is our fight or flight response. And it's calming that down. So it's interrupting that fight or flight signal. All right, the next is the side of the ribs, or ladies, where you wear your bra, like your bra strap line, the side of the ribs. You can do it this way, or you can cross over. It's kind of like a little self hug. Okay, and then we're going to end on the top of the head. All right, so we're going to do all that again. The difference is I'm going to read a script. You can choose to repeat after me if you'd like, if you're able to do that where you're at. If you're not, then just listen or just say it in your mind. Well, let's rate our level of anxiety before we go in. I would say, and do like a body scan. Are you having any pain or any discomfort? How do you feel on a scale from 0 is no anxiety, no pain. 10 is like the worst anxiety and pain you could imagine. I'm at, let's say a 5. And then we'll re-rate. Okay. Repeat after me if you would like. If not, just listen along. Even though I feel this tension in my body, I accept how I feel, and I am open to relaxing. Okay, we're going to repeat that. You can switch hands if you'd like, but you don't have to. Even though I am struggling to relax, I accept how I feel, and I trust this process, or I'm learning to trust this process. That might be a little bit more comfortable. Okay, and repeat it again. Even though it is hard to let go of this tension, I honor how I feel in this moment, and I allow myself to begin to relax. All right, let's go through the points now. Eyebrow point. This tension in my body, all these thoughts that are running through my mind, it is just so hard to relax sometimes. Side of the eye. When there's just so much going on, I don't feel like I can relax until everything is done. Underneath the eye. I don't feel like I can relax until I find all the answers. So I've been holding on to this tension, hoping this tension will lead me to the answers. Okay, underneath the nose. But this strategy just isn't working. And all of this tension that I'm carrying because I'm trying to find all the answers, is just a heavy weight that's not taking me anywhere. Okay, let's go to the chin now. And it just feels so good to just let go. I am noticing any remaining tension. Okay, let's go to the ribs now, side of the arms. And I begin to have a loving conversation with my body. All right, let's top of the head. Say, hello, body. I hear you. I see you. I honor you. I honor how you feel. You've been through quite a lot. Okay, back to the eyebrow. And it is okay that you feel the way you do. It is safe to begin to let go. Okay, side of the eye. You are safe in this moment. I am here. And there is nothing left to do tonight. Okay, underneath the eye. Just relax deeper and deeper. Right here and right now. Okay, underneath the nose. I am okay right in this moment. I am at peace. And I am honoring how my body feels. Okay, let's do the chin. And I'm relaxing at my own pace. My journey is unfolding. Let's go to the collarbone point. What I need will reveal itself at the perfect time. But right now, all I need to do is nothing. Is just tap and breathe and trust this process, even if you're new to it. I allow my body to just let go. It has been waiting for my permission, and I'm going to give it. Okay, side of the ribs. I choose to relax now. It feels so easy. Top of the head. It feels safe to simply just let go. All right. Let's take a deep breath in. Let's put our hands together. Let's just rub our hands together. That's usually how I like to end. Taking a deep breath in and out. Generating a little bit of warmth in the hands. And maybe if it feels good to you, maybe just put your hands on your heart or your thighs or your stomach or wherever feels good to you. And slowly flutter your eyes back open if they were closed. And come back to the room. All right, and we're gonna re-rate our anxiety. Mine was at about a 5 when we started. I definitely felt a shift downwards. So I would say at a 3 now. So even if your anxiety went down a point, that's good. If it didn't go anywhere, then simply it just means you need a little bit more. Maybe you can rewatch this video at any time. You can always go to my YouTube channel at Holistic Healing Network. Click on the live. It's underneath the live section because these are live streams that I do every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And you can rewatch this at any time you need it. And the others that I've done and will do every Wednesday at 7, you can join live or you can always go back to my channel and watch the replays anytime you need this. There's other resources as well that I'm going to go into before we wrap up. So if you liked what we did and you know have to say goodnight, I say thank you for tuning in. And if you'd like to stay and hear about some resources, I'm going to go into those. And I'm also going to post those in the description of the video on the YouTube channel. So if you liked tapping, there's a couple of ways that you can continue this practice. Of course, you can always watch these videos again. You can also work with me or choose to work with a practitioner who is trained in tapping or what's called emotional freedom technique. And that is what we just did. And I go into more detail about it on my YouTube channel, Holistic Healing Network. There's a video that says setting boundaries using tapping. And I do go into a lot of detail about tapping, but just putting the name of it there is emotional freedom technique because it frees us from certain intense emotions by using that gentle tapping, evidence-based. And so you can choose to work with a practitioner. I have training in EFT, and I'm a licensed mental health counselor and a holistic health and lifestyle coach. I use tapping with a lot of my clients. I use it pretty much daily in my own practice. So that's something you can choose to do. All of the information to contact me is also in the notes in the description of the video, but you can also go to my website at leahpetrucci.com. And there is a link to schedule a free 30-minute consultation to see if my services might be right for you. And if not, I'd always be glad to help you find someone who is, knowing a lot of resources in the area. If you're, we're not a good fit for whatever reason, there's other resources as well in the description of the notes that I will put. And of course, we can, also talk about that during a consultation. Another way to continue tapping is there is an app that is amazing that I like to use called the Tapping Solution. I use it for myself. I use it with my clients. There's two options. There's a free version. There's also the website that you can go to, www.thetappingsolution.com. There's some podcasts and things like that you can access on the website, and you can read more about tapping. The app, however, you do have to have on a mobile phone. You can't use the app on a desktop, unfortunately, not yet. But there, so anyway, to use the app, there's two options. There's a free version, and then, there's a paid version. Of course, there's more options with the paid version. However, if you, give the free version a try, and you're like, I really like this, but I really want to access the other meditations. There's hundreds of them that you get access to in the premium version, and you really want to try it out. I was able to partner with the company and get a 50% off for my community, for my listeners, for my clients, for my loved ones. And so that brings it down from, it's an annual membership. It's normally around $100 for an annual membership for the premium. But with this link, you get 50% off. So that brings it down to $47. If you want the clickable, I'll put it here. I know it's a long link. There is a clickable link in the description of the notes underneath the video on my channel, Holistic Healing Network. again, you click on the live and you go to the one for today, which is the one on tapping and some neurosomatic drills. Actually, I think I put it in all of the videos. You'll be able to find this link in all of the descriptions of any video you pick, the online gathering place videos. So there's two options that you can do to continue your tapping practice. What I mentioned earlier about the nervous system regulation work, there is an option to get a 2-week free trial to a membership called Brain-Based Wellness. This is how I learned all of these neurosomatic nervous system regulation drills. I work with a neurosomatic intelligence coach, and this is a link where you can get a 2-week free trial. The clickable link again is also in the description of the video. Just make sure you get the whole link there. I know where when you see it on the screen, it almost looks like it ends at the question mark, but it doesn't. There it does. I'm gonna have to fix that. Might be better to find the link in the description and just click on it. You'll get a 2-week free trial. You'll also get to read about what you get in this membership. It's pretty awesome. There's 2 options. You can go to live classes that are Zoom based, and you actually kind of do this nervous system regulation practice, but with the coaches. And there's even more. I mean, you really get into advanced stuff. I can only really teach basic things. But of course, I do use that with my clients, but on a very basic level. This is really taking your nervous system regulation training to a more advanced level. I've been doing this type of nervous system regulation training for about a year, and it's just been night and day for my nervous system and my health. Health issues, my gut issues really just started to clear up once I started to do this nervous system regulation work. So tons of benefits. If you have any questions about these things, I'd be glad to answer those for you. You can, again, either schedule a consult with me, or you can go to my website and all my contact information is there, my email, my phone number, things of that nature. If you have any questions about any of these things that I've mentioned, please don't hesitate to reach out. And it was a pleasure. Oh, yes, one more thing before we wrap up. If anyone is interested in volunteering on the online gathering place and leading activities like this, you don't have to be a professional. You can lead any activity that you want. Sometimes we do trivia and games. You don't have to be a mental health professional to do things like that. So if you just have a love of facilitating and doing activities, send an email to theonlinegatheringplace@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page. If you look up Online Gathering Place, then you'll be able to see when the other ones go, because I'm not the only one who does these. Right now, we have enough volunteers to do it a few times a week, and we're hoping to increase that to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if that's something you're interested in, check out our Facebook page or send an email to this email address. So I hope this was good for y'all, and hope to see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thanks, and have a great night.